This is the Player 4 Podcast. Join us each week as we talk about video games, entertainment, and pop culture, and bring in guests from the Rooster Teeth community. Player 4 has entered the game.
Welcome to another exciting episode of Player 4 Podcast.
Player 2?
Yeah.
What?
I'm Malachi, aka Tsukihiba.
Yeah, something's off. Why are you first?
I know, right? It's freaking awesome. I'm first!
First. Yeah, so what's going on here is Tristan, who usually is our first intro guy, is hanging out with a friend. And Alex, who's usually second in the pecking order, is also hanging out with a different friend in a different state. And then Malachi and I are the only ones left. And I think the last time we had a two-person episode was over a year ago, when it was me and Alex.
No, that's not true. Tristan and I did one, didn't we? That was posted?
That was a while ago. When was that?
That was sometime, quite a few months ago, but still.
Okay. Well, anyway, so it's you and I, Malachi.
You didn't introduce yourself, you fool.
Oh, okay. Well, I am Joseph, a.k.a. Jay Dunlap on the Rooster Teeth website. What have you been up to, Malachi?
Just playing video games and, actually I got into Overwatch, which was kind of cool. And that's pretty much all I've been up to.
Oh yeah, Tristan bought you that for Christmas.
Yeah, he did. He's like, you need to play, here. And I'm like, okay.
Has he been playing with you?
Oh yeah, we play quite a bit.
You kicking some booty?
No.
Right before we recorded,
how about yourself?
I don't know if you saw in my text message before we were getting ready to record, but I made pizza for my family.
Like from scratch?
Sort of. So, I'll preface this story. It's a story. It's story time. So sit yourself down, childrens. So I talked last week, actually, during our live stream about the fact that I've had to go gluten-free because of a wheat sensitivity a year and a half ago, and I dropped 30 pounds since then, so there's that. Well, pizza that's gluten-free is hard to find good. The closest I've found is Domino's makes some that you can't have if you're celiac because it's still made in the same place as the normal pizza. But if you're not celiac, if it's a sensitivity like I have and my wife has, you can get gluten-free pizza at Domino's, and it's actually pretty decent. It's a little bit crunchy, but most pizza you're going to get is usually either soggy or hard as a rock, like cardboard. I guess cardboard's not hard as a rock, but you get the metaphor. Also, I have worked at pizza places in the past. When I was in college, I spent a few months working at Domino's. And when you work at Domino's, at least the one I worked at, even if you're delivery, you do spend time in the building making pizza. So now fast forward to now. I started to think, well, how can I make pizza without having all that horrible crust? And I realized the gluten-free bread is actually really good. It's like grain bread, like multigrain, and it's pretty solid. It's porous. It's not dry. The white bread is kind of dry, but the grain bread is pretty porous and spongy. So, prototype night, I put a handful of pieces of bread on a pan, preheated the oven to about 350, and then spread sauce and put cheese on each piece of bread, put some pepperoni, put some cheese on top, mozzarella under the pepperoni, and the two-color cheese on top.
Do you just use sliced bread?
Yeah, that's all I was doing, was just using sliced bread.
Oh, dude, I used to do that all the time when I was younger as a kid. That's a great way to make little pizzas. Although we never got the fancy marinara sauce. We usually use spaghetti sauce.
Yeah, I think it was marinara sauce. The difference is that this bread, the gluten-free multigrain bread, is a lot more solid than like the white bread that you might eat as a kid that might get a little bit soggy in the middle and fall apart. This is actually a little bit thicker and a little bit more solid. And so I was thinking, no, that's perfect. So I tried it out. I think next time I put a little bit more sauce, a little bit more cheese, and keep it in the oven for a little bit longer. But here's the kicker, Malachi. You can't undercook pizza when nothing in it actually needs to be cooked.
That's true. That is very true. Usually what we did was oil in a frying pan. We just put a little olive oil, put it in a frying pan, and just kind of crisp it up on the one side.
That actually works too. You also have like the sandwich makers, and that's another thing we can do.
Oh, yeah.
I've just been experimenting with different things. Last night I made my wife a snack because we've been... Oh, did I mention this? We downloaded Weight watching app on our phones. It's a calorie counter.
Is it a free one?
It is free. It's called MyFitnessPal. And you can also get Pacer, which is a pedometer that connects to it, and that will adjust your calorie count for the day based off of your step count. So I've been using it for about a week now. Gina's trying to maintain her weight because she's just at the cusp of the minimum weight for her height, whereas I'm trying to lose weight, and so I actually have to eat less than her. Well, she also exercises. She teaches at a dance studio. So she's like, wow,
that's a lot of help.
She's like, wow, I am such and such calories under for today, and I don't want to lose weight. And I'm like, I got you. I scrounged around in the kitchen. I got an apple. I got crunchy peanut butter. Well, actually, I bought crunchy peanut butter today, but I got peanut butter and peanuts and just put them together. And I got caramel, and I mixed it all together. I chopped up the apple into little pieces, and I mixed it all together for her, and she was like, this is so good. So I got crunchy peanut butter and gluten-free pretzel sticks for her today, and I'm going to make her little haystacks out of that as little energy things because she has blood sugar issues. The moral of the story is, I'm a keeper, folks.
And also, if you want to try gluten-free bread, it's actually pretty good.
It is really good. One of my students came up to me this morning and said, I went gluten-free because I want to see if I'm wheat sensitive, and guess what? I went down a pant size. I'm like, that's awesome. Anyway,
I should try that.
You should. Aside from all the gluten talk, what are we talking about today besides pizza? We're talking about Mass Effect. And Malachi, there was something you wanted to talk about.
I recently found out that there is a decent-sized arcade near me.
All right. More on that later.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's going to be our closing topic, but I look forward to hearing about this arcade, where it is, and what games you're going to be playing. But in the meantime, let's talk about Mass Effect as our main topic, because it's coming. Mass Effect Andromeda is going to be here in March, I believe.
Do you want to hear what I know of it?
Tell me what you know of it, Malachi.
So, all I really know is you play a main character, Shepard, which you can pick it to be a guy or a girl.
This is going to be good.
And then I know that was an interesting aspect of the game was you can pick answers to questions that actually influence the game, the storyline. I don't know if it was anything severe. It might have been mostly subtle stuff. You'll have to let me know about that. And yeah, so that's the nifty things I remember of hearing about Mass Effect. I never picked it up myself because I wasn't much of a shooter person. A little more now than before. So I've been wanting to pick it up, and I've seen it for like $20 at GameStop and just haven't picked it up yet.
Okay, you are mostly correct on what you're saying. As a clarification, it's March 21st that Mass Effect Andromeda releases. So, yes, the Mass Effect trilogy 1, 2, and 3, well, I guess Mass Effect, and then 2 and 3, just like Halo Combat Evolved, followed by 2 and 3, follows the story of Shepard. Now, Shepard is not referred to by his first name in the games because you assign a first name to him when you make your character. And even in Mass Effect 3, which is the game where there are moments where they kind of lightheartedly make fun of themselves, they even say, to say his first name is to dishonor his legacy. And that's their explanation why they don't even say his first name. Or her.
That's cool to put that kind of explanation in there, though.
Mm-hmm. Everyone just says Shepard or Commander Shepard. So the story of the original trilogy, and this is not a spoiler, I mean, it's been out a very, very long time, and the first game dives into this very quickly. The Reapers are coming. And the Reapers are this ancient race of machine, I want to call them giant space shrimp. That's what they kind of look like. They're giant space robot shrimp.
Well, they usually refer to the stars as oceans sometimes, so I wouldn't be surprised if they went that way.
They do kind of look like shrimp, that's all, and they have real ominous sounds. It's like... Anyway, the Reapers are coming, and they're going to harvest all life in the galaxy and put a reset button, and apparently this is something they do often. Often being every 50,000 years, they reset civilization in the galaxy for reasons unknown. And it's up to Shepard, because nobody believes him, to stop it from happening. That's the story of basically the trilogy, although eventually people do start believing him. Because they see some.
Thinking about harvesting the galaxy makes me think of an anime that I really, really loved. It's called Vandred. But they were harvesting the galaxy for a different reason.
Yeah, there is this very specific reason for this that you don't find out till the end of the last game.
This new game or the last?
No, the end of Mass Effect 3, you finally figure it all out. All the pieces come together. Mass Effect Andromeda is going to take place in the Andromeda Galaxy. That's our nearest galaxy. It's not going to be about Shepard. It's going to be about Ryder. And Ryder there's two children that are the children of Alec Ryder, an N7 Special Forces soldier, which N7 is a Special Forces organization. It's a human organization in Mass Effect.
So, are you playing a completely new character? You're not dealing
Yes,
with
you
the
are.
old
You are playing a new character because the ending of Mass Effect 3 is such that they really can't follow up on it because of the spread of what the possibilities are of what did happen at the end of the third one, if that makes any sense.
No, it makes sense. Basically, they concluded everything, but they came up with a new story that is set in the same universe.
It's in the same sort of universe as far as what the races are and the technology, but we're in a new galaxy now. So the children of Alec Ryder, there's a male and female sibling, and so when you choose which of them you are, you're choosing which sibling you are. You're not just like, you're either male Shep or fem Shep. So it's kind of a cool idea, and I believe that the one you don't pick plays into the story somehow. That's been the speculation. Anyway, so your job is that you're going to the Andromeda Galaxy to explore and set up colonies. The ending of Mass Effect 3 is so far-reaching in what happens when you choose which ending you want. They can't choose one to be the canon ending. They can't continue the story in the Milky Way Galaxy, and they can't continue Shepard's story. So we're following the saga of the Ryder siblings. We're setting up colonies on Andromeda. And that's kind of the cool idea of it. They didn't really have that in the first three games. But you're setting up colonies almost Fallout style. And you're trying to keep them protected, and you're trying to help them develop in an RTS sort of way. So,
like Sims?
I'm not quite sure. I think it's more like Fallout combined with an RTS. The game takes place 600 years after the first three Mass Effect games. Let's see. So they set out on their journey during Mass Effect 2. So what happened was, I guess, the Reaper threat maybe caused them to leave for Andromeda. And it took them 600 years to get there. While they were aware of the Reaper threat, they were not affected by whatever happened at the end of the third one. So that's kind of a cool idea. I was reading on the wiki page. That is the source for news, everyone, says the college professor in the room. So that is Andromeda. It's going to be an exciting game. The gameplay is going to be very reminiscent of the original trilogy, while introducing new ideas like jetpack propulsion, what they started to do with the Halo franchise. And there's like a flamethrower from your hand kind of effect that there was on the gameplay footage that they had recently. It's going to be late March. I'm going to be playing it. As far as what you said about story choices, so tell me again what you know about Mass Effect as far as story goes and the decisions and all that.
Well, I just remember the big thing that everyone hyped about with Mass Effect was that you could build a relationship with any specific character, and then you would have an intimate scene in one of the games. And I remember people were like, "Oh, you can get
a good way or a bad way."
It could be with anyone to my knowledge, guy or girl, alien, didn't matter.
Well, I mean, when they were like, was it like, ooh, or ew?
Not really bad, kind of like, you can do this.
Okay, so let me explain to you. If you choose a guy, in the first game, your choices for romantic interest are the human on your crew that's a girl, or the alien chick of a race of aliens that they're mammals. They're chicks because they're all capable of giving birth, so they have to be able to breastfeed. That's what defines a mammal in the first place. The way that they make babies is mentally, through a telepathic power, are able to combine their DNA with someone else's. They pick the good parts of both DNA and make a child. So, if you're FemShep, your choices are the dude on the crew that's a human, or the alien chick. You know, it's not so much, I guess, for FemShep it's a lesbian thing, but for the alien, it's just as normal as anything else. Before the alien race ever even encountered other races, that's how they had their babies. One of them would elect to be the mother.
Yeah, it's whoever wanted to be what. Interesting.
Interesting thing was, after they established relations with other races, no pun intended, I suppose, it actually became a stigma in their society to have children through other Asari, as opposed to strengthening their bloodline by mixing with other races. It was an interesting thing, as opposed to, in most fantasies like half-breed, that kind of thing. In this case, you were considered to have a weaker bloodline if both your parents were Asari.
Interesting. Well, that's kind of cool.
So that's the first game. It's like, do you want the human or do you want the alien? In the second game, they actually eliminate all three of those characters as a choice because they want you to choose someone else. And in this case, there's two other aliens, a guy and a girl, that were on your crew in the first game that are less reminiscent of human form. Like they're humanoid, they have arms and legs, but they are a little bit more alien looking. You can choose one of them, or you can choose a human on the crew.
So you choose you choose different spouses or like people to be in a relationship through multiple games?
In the first one, you've got two choices, and the second one, you've got a few more choices, but they are not the same choices as the first one.
You can either stick with so you can't stick with what you previously had though.
Oh, you're not bound to choose. You have the option of not choosing one of them because your character is so in love with the first one, or it was like, well, we've drifted apart because their characters do drift apart.
But they do give you the choice to stay with the previous one.
You do have the choice. And in fact, at the beginning of the third one, whoever it was you chose in the first game will ask you, I heard that you became close with this other crew member, and I think that's great, but do we still have a future? Or if you didn't pick someone, then they're just like, do we still have a future? And so you have the choice at that point, who do you want to choose between those two, or do you want to choose someone new as a new option? There's a few new crew members you can choose from. If you're a guy, there's two guy choices. If you're a girl, there's a girl choice.
That's interesting. So, all right, well, that just outlines the choice factors. There's a lot of interesting things you can influence in the game that isn't like a linear path, which is kind of cool.
Yes, and as far as romance goes, there's always a point before the suicide mission in all three games where whoever it is that you're romancing comes up to your cabin and you kiss and cuddle, basically.
Yeah, that's the scene that is usually played and the stuff.
Yeah.
No, but my other question was, for the games, in a sense, is you as being a player that really enjoys it, you would say that it's an easy game to pick up and that people would enjoy?
I think if you enjoy shooter games, or if you enjoy
shooter
RPGs, or you just enjoy what BioWare does with like the conversations, because before this I played Star Wars: The Old Republic, and I enjoyed the conversation choices, or if you enjoy games where you can romance a companion, or if you enjoy games where you have two people helping you in combat, then this is a game you should try out. Or if you're just curious, or if you like sci-fi, it's very immersive and you'll get sucked into the story and you'll really start to care about the characters.
How many hours each game do you think you end up playing? Like, what do they have to offer? They have like 40 hours worth of gameplay that's really in depth.
Pretty close to that, actually. I'm being a completionist with Mass Effect 3 right now. In my second playthrough, Gina and I are getting close to completing the playthrough I mentioned on the podcast months ago. I think I've logged about 29 hours so far. Just in a few weeks, and you can get to 40 hours if you're a completionist, and this also includes, I got the best DLC for the game, which was the Day 1 DLC. It's the Citadel DLC where you get to throw a party for all your companions, but in addition to that, you also get more face time with your companions. But you talked about far-reaching ramifications of decisions, and that's another thing I wanted to touch on. For anyone curious about the franchise, there are decisions you make that will affect junctures further down the line. Like, if you choose to let this character live, you'll see them later on. If you don't, you won't. Or if you're nice to this character, maybe we see them later and they help you. You're not nice to them, later on you see them and they don't like you. But there's also things like, do I kill this character? Later on, maybe that character could have been important, and it could have been doing good things, or bad things, and someone else is doing things instead who's in charge of that thing. If you did something bad, you've got to face the consequences of that story-wise. Or if you did something good, then later on you get rewarded for it. But ultimately, what people had trouble with was at the end of the third game, all those decisions, and you build up this armada, and you have this big battle, and then you have three choices how the game ends.
Oh, no, they felt that you could use more choices at the end?
It's not even that your decisions don't matter, and they don't shape the course of the ending. and you don't succeed even with a full-strength armada, but also it boils down to which choice you make at that moment. See, I would understand if there was 3 possible endings, but you got the one that you had worked the most towards. Or there were a myriad of choices, but depending on what you had done story-wise, you would get only 2 choices based off of that, like a tree. But no, this was, no matter what you do, you have to choose one of these 3 endings. And none of the 3 endings even matter, to the point that you don't even have to make a decision to say that you completed the game, although you won't get the achievement.
It's just looking at what kind of ending you want to see.
Basically, yeah. There's the good ending, the bad ending, and the meh ending, basically.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I like that they're going to break away from Mass Effect 3. They're going to have this universe filled with these races from the Milky Way, with knowledge of what happened in the first game and part of the second game. But they're exploring this new galaxy and encountering these new aliens with these new threats. Malachi, you said something about, you saw something at a store recently. It was a good deal for getting all 3 Mass Effect games.
Well, used or new, I don't remember which it was. Like I said earlier, GameStop, it was like only $25 for all 3.
That's pretty nice. When I bought mine, I got each one of them at GameStop used at like $9 or something. Also, a word of advice for you console players: if you are buying a used disc, if it's scratched at all, like that's how you're going to be getting Mass Effect most likely is a used disc, then you need to install the disc to your Xbox. And if you're not able to because of the scratch, go ahead and borrow it from someone or rent it, install the disc to your hard drive, and then from then on it won't have to read the disc anymore. It will just check to see the disc is in there. That's something I had to do with my first one. I actually wasn't able to finish.
Part of it, doesn't it?
It verifies that it's there, but the information is downloaded to the hard drive.
Really? It doesn't... I thought sometimes when you downloaded it, it would check certain information, though.
It might. I do know that I wasn't able to complete my first playthrough of Mass Effect, and I started over with a different character, because I reached a point 9/10 of the way through the story where I couldn't progress because of a scratch on the disc. At that point, I rented it from Hastings, which just went out of business, actually, and installed the disc to the hard drive, then returned it, and then finished the game. So, that's enough about Mass Effect. Let's talk about your arcade before we say goodnight.
Alright, yeah, it was just something really cool that I haven't seen in forever. Like, we have the arcade up at the mall, but it's just this dinky little thing. But this is a place called Robot City in Binghamton, New York. They have a very large arcade, and it looks like they have classic games too, not really high-tech fancy new stuff. They have like Pac-Man and like stuff that you don't see very often. So, and they also sell video games, like even NES games and stuff like that, and of course the newer consoles. So
yeah, I was going to say that's going to be great now that people are buying those little pocket NESs.
Yeah, they have everything up there, it looks like. So I'm interested in going and check it out and play up there. And one thing I know for arcades sometimes too is depending on the arcade, I know the one at our mall actually buys and sells their games. That's why you see games come in and out of arcades, is they actually usually sell them. So they might have a website where they're selling their arcade boxes, but that's just at our mall. I don't know if Robot City does it.
What game are you most hoping to see there?
Classic ones that I never really got to play. Like, I never got to play Pac-Man on an arcade box, which I think would be really fun to do. Maybe even Galaga. That'd always be fun.
Avengers. Batman is playing Galaga. He didn't think we would notice, but we did.
So yeah, it's something that I've never got to do very often. I've only got to play small games here and there that were at like campsites, which usually have a few games. Like I got to play Soul Calibur, one of the more original. I don't know actually if it was called the original name, which was Soul Blade. If I'm not mistaken, it was a different name than Soul Calibur, the very first game. It actually might have been...
Could have been Soul Edge for all we know.
Soul Edge. Actually, yeah, no, that's what the first game was called.
Because that's the name of the sword.
Yeah. I think it was Soul Calibur, the very first Soul Calibur after the Soul Edge game. I got to play that on arcade, and that was a lot of fun.
That's a great franchise. Real cool mechanics to it. What's your favorite Soul Calibur game?
That's hard to say. I want to say the one I played the most and I really enjoyed a lot was Soul Calibur 2.
That's actually mine and Tristan's as well. It's a great one. Although I think it was 3 or 4 that had a little RTS mode where you made custom characters and they would walk through a map and they would go from point to point and sometimes they would battle things. And there was the custom character you could make with a lance and you could just cheese them from like 6 feet away. And that's how it would chip away at most of their health, even if I was outnumbered.
It was probably Keelik style, because he's the one with the staff, and he had some really long-reaching attacks.
This was pretty unique, though. The lance was unique to the custom characters you made for the RTS mode. It was really interesting.
It would have been that one chick, then, in 4. She had a lance and a sword. She had a little short sword and a lance.
Remember that arcade game when we were teenagers that was the dinosaurs fighting each other over continents of Earth?
Was it Rampage?
Was it? I only ever saw friends play it because I didn't really have quarters to play it, but it looked so awesome, and there was like the bonus levels where you would eat people.
Yeah, no, it's Rampage. Well, yeah, you'd sit there and climb up buildings and bash in the windows and stuff and try to break down the most buildings versus your friend in 2-player.
And there was also there would be bonus levels if you did really well. You would have a bonus level where you could just run around, eat people that are running around.
I don't remember that because I didn't get to play it very much. I only played it a few times. But
maybe
yeah,
they'll
that
have
game
that. You should let me know. It looked like a lot of fun. You can tell me if it's good.
Oh, dude, I will be taking pictures and having a blast up there if it's as good as I'm hoping.
How far is it?
I'm trying not to. An hour drive. That's it.
Is it towards or away from Tristan?
It's in Binghamton. I want to say that's away. Yeah, because I think it's Binghamton North. It's either north or west. Because Albany's east of me.
Is that where?
Yeah.
What's Albany in relation to all of this?
Albany is between me and Tristan.
Oh, okay. So it's not necessarily. Yeah, I could see that. It's not necessarily like on the other side of you from Tristan, but it's not necessarily on the way either.
Yeah.
Because
it's not terribly far. 45-hour drive is nothing, really, to me at least.
Well, I live in Texas. An hour drive is... Sometimes I go play Magic an hour away, so it's nothing in Texas either. An hour drive in some states, you cross state lines.
Oh, dude. We're right on the border to Pennsylvania. Like, I used to live, like, on the border. Like, you can cross Philly's line in easily not even an hour.
I saw a map of the UK, and it was juxtaposed with Texas, and I was like, what? This is like if I drive to see my sister. It's like the middle of Texas. I also saw a map that was like all these different countries, but they were like the wrong proportions, and a tiny Texas was also there, all juxtaposed over Texas. Making a joke, there's all these maps about how things relate to size of Texas, to the point that there was a tiny Texas in Texas. It's like, wait, that's not right.
Wow. Dude, I just finally found the list real quick of the arcades that they have. I can't even.
You can't
I can't even, dude. I can't even. Dude, this is gonna be fun. They have Area 51 Max Force, Afterburner 2, just reading off random ones. They at least have close to 50 or 100. Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Mario Brothers, Mappy, Jungle Hunt, Lethal Enforcers, House of the Dead. I'm trying to think of. See, there's a real old ones.
Marvel vs. Capcom should be fun, but do not play Baraka, because Baraka Pool is the worst thing ever.
See what the oldest one they have. They have in 1980. They have Space Encounters, which is 1980. Oh, here's one of my birth year. Xenophobe, 1987. X-Men vs. Street Fighter versus Duck Hunt.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah, dude, this place is gonna be sick. I hope I have a lot of fun. They have the Simpsons 4-player.
Okay, time for a Let's Play.
Yeah, right? Dude, I should just videotape me playing.
We can all four go to the arcade and play the 4-player Simpsons, and when we're done, we're like, okay, see ya.
Yeah, it looks like the oldest game they had. Oh, wait, no, it was a 1979 baseball game.
I wonder if it's
Oh,
that
no.
Atari game that's at the beginning of The Princess Bride.
That would be interesting. Oh, there's another one, 1978 Clowns, it's called. So, yeah, this is going to be fun. This is the first time I get to go to an arcade in a long time. So
You should definitely tell us how it goes after you make the drive and, live it up and use up all your quarters and whatnot.
I'll have to go through a lot of quarters. So, yeah, I will tell you how that goes. It will be a blast.
I look forward to it. So another time. Next week, I believe we already have a request for a topic we're going to talk about when Tristan and Alex are actually here. They've been to RTX, as have I. And Stuart, longtime listener, many-time guest on the show, asked us to talk about RTX since tickets are going on sale for RTX, the summer convention in Austin about where real life meets the internet. I believe that's their tagline. Stuart wants us to talk about our favorite RTX moments. So we're going to talk about that next week. And Malachi, you can nod and listen and, smile, even though we won't see you.
Yeah, I should actually, make it a point just to say, yes, I've gone to RTX once.
You can go. You can be at our panel this year.
Oh my god, no.
Okay, I'll tell you now that you're not going to be on the panel, but actually you're going to be on the panel. Oh, dang it.
How can I be on the panel but not on the panel?
I was going to lie to you, but I just screwed it up, so...
Will I be levitating over the panel? So I'm not really on it, but I'm there.
Ooh. Yeah, you're going to be... Oh, you know that the VR thing with Minecraft where the guy has the goggles and he's watching his friend play in the world? So you're the Minecraft god over our panel.
How much does these little tickets go for?
Somewhere around 90. It actually costs more to do side quests than it does to actually get a ticket for RTX, but that's because side quests is multiple events.
And it also depends on where you guys crash usually.
Yeah, we've got a place already set up. Bree's been talking to me. I had to leave the group last year, the Skype group, because I wasn't able to make it except for one day, which made me sad panda, but at least we got a panel. And I'm hoping we get a panel this year. I'm going to apply for one. I believe last year I applied for it, and then I told you guys I may or may not have applied for a panel, and I may or may not have promised we were doing a table read, but the table read went swimmingly. Went awesome. So maybe we'll do it again this year, for as long as they allow us to. Anything else, Malachi, about Mass Effect, or pizza, or gluten, or arcade games, or RTX?
No, I should probably give Mass Effect a try, and then maybe I could motivate Tristan to play if I play.
You two should.
Usually, I usually could talk him into things. I'd be like, Tristan, I'm playing it. Peer pressure.
I know exactly what you can do. One of you can go Paragon route, and one of you can go Renegade. And trust me, you don't want to mix.
You don't want to mix.
You don't want to mix because there are conversation choices that are only unlocked when you reach a certain level of either Renegade or Paragon.
So you don't want to cross the streams, huh?
Yeah, you don't want to. You don't want to cross swords. So you and Tristan can compare notes, and you could be like, well, I'll be Renegade and I'll romance Ashley, and you be Paragon, you romance Liara, and you can sort of exchange notes on what happens, and be like, okay, well, you kill this character, and I'll kill this character, and that kind of thing.
But that takes away from their replay value. God, no.
Well, I'm just telling you a way you can con Tristan into playing with you.
That's true.
All right. I look forward to hearing about all these fun adventures that you're going on, Malachi. Fun.
Sorry. Fun. Exciting. You won't hear from me. I'll do it on a Monday, so I'm not here like the other two.
You mean like Tristan and Alex who keep missing?
I know. It's terrible.
Alex's birthday is actually either the week after or the week of our 100th episode. Bet you didn't know that.
Wow. Yeah,
yeah.
That's a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're approaching 100. This is episode 95, Malachi.
I think 100 should be a mandatory. No ifs, ands, or buts. You're going to have to cancel anything you have planned for that one.
No, there will be buts.
No, there won't be buts.
There will be butt touching.
That is terrible.
Good night, everyone. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Oh, we don't have Alex to do the final caboose goodbye.
Goodbye.
There you go. That was halfway decent. And then sometimes I'll make fun of his Arnold impression and be like, "You have to get out of here. The podcast is over." That was terrible. All right. See you guys later.
This is what happens when they leave us.
When they leave us unattended. Well, when Alex and I recorded an episode last year by ourselves, we ended up singing at the end. So we won't do that. Thanks for listening, everyone. Come back next week. We're going to talk about fun convention stuff, and it's going to be fun. Go out and play Mass Effect. Good night, and good luck, and good gravy. No, really, good gravy, Malachi.
Good gravy.
Good gravy.
I don't like gravy.
You ever heard that saying?
I don't like gravy. Nope. Because I don't like gravy. God, you're old. I'm just kidding.
You ever read Calvin and Hobbes?
Nope.
What?
Nope.
What? I have a few Calvin and Hobbes anthologies, and that was something Calvin would say, good gravy. You know, it's the cartoon about the kid, and he has the stuffed tiger that's as big as he is, but when it's just him, his imagination makes the stuffed tiger come to life?
Nope.
Really? Philosophical talks about the nature of life? No? Okay. Cool. How old are you?
29. Gonna be 30.
I don't understand how you never read Calvin and Hobbes. What about Charlie Brown?
I didn't really care for Charlie Brown.
My parents had an anthology of Charlie Brown that I read through. I don't know. Peanuts had some interesting stories. I need to expose you to more cartoons and video games and music and butts.
And butts.
And butts.